Hi, ladies and gentlemen, to today, tonight, whatever you want to call it. I'm interviewing a real life Sufi Sihr. I'm doing this for lots of reasons. The first reason is a lot of people on my channel leave quite a lot of remarks. Some of them are good, some of them are bad. However, some of them actually accuse me of not really knowing what I'm talking about, which is fair enough. We can all learn. However, I now want the book to stop here because the person I am going to talk to now, who will be anonymous, in my opinion, having been an occultist for many, many years, is the real deal. Tonight, he wants to be known as Al-Mu'alim, which means master. I've seen him work. I can feel the energy around him. I can assure you this man is a master. I've met many magicians, of which maybe 3 or 4 are the real deal. However, there's always an ace in the pack, and I would say that Al-Mu'alim is the ace. So tonight we're going to talk freely, and another reason why we're going to talk freely is that Al-Mu'alim is the only person I trust who can make genuine Djinn rings, but we will talk about that later in the show. But anyway, we'll start. So, Al-Mu'alim, how did you get into Djinn worship?
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
When I first got into working with Jinn, I was working with spirits from the ancestral ATR, ancestral community, ancestral traditional community. I didn't know anything about Jinn at the time.
Mm-hmm. So what made you go to Djinn? If you're working with the ancestral Djinn, with the ancestral spirits, what pulled you across to the Djinn, if you don't mind me asking?
I was pursuing other African traditional religions, and the Jinn showed up in my life. They came for me. I did not choose the Jinn. I didn't know anything about them, and they showed up in my life. When I received a visitation from the Jinn, I thought it was an Orisha. It was an Orisha at the time. I thought it was the Orisha Oya, the spirit of transformation and change. I knew that change was fixing to take place in my life at the time. It was an amazing experience. When I received a visitation from the Jinn, there was a 12-foot tornado, 12 to 15-foot tornado that came to me that was close enough for me to touch it. And it stayed there for about 13 seconds. I was learning how to work with different spirits from other traditions at the time. I was under the impression that this was the spirit from another tradition. Later, I went to go and give a ritual offering to appease the spirit that I thought it was. And later, my sheikh found me, my teacher found me. And this was when my path of learning how to work with Jinn began.
So how long?
I received a visit.
So how long have you worked with Jinn for now?
I've been working with Jinn for about 7 years now.
Wow, that's a long time.
About 6
because
it's 6 or 7 years.
It's really
7 years.
It's really syncretic that you talk about the tornado, because my wife was in a forest, a big forest, and she was without me, and a tornado came to her in the forest. So, I'm really grateful for you to explain that to me, because at the time we couldn't understand it. She thought it was a Djinn, and I thought it was a Djinn. Now, through what you've said, I understand it was actually a Djinn, because this was a forest. There's no way the wind could whip up into a funnel, yeah? And literally, it came to her.
Yeah.
But she was frightened. She ran away, obviously. I mean, you're in the middle of the woods, and you're confronted by like you said, about a 10, 15-foot tornado, really, ripping the ground up and making lots of noise. I mean, yeah, she ran. She ran like there was no tomorrow. I think I would have run as well. I've often told you this before. I think that you're a lot braver than most people. Seriously. A lifetime study in occultism. Bharrat has worked with adepts in India, Africa, and the Yemen. This book allows the reader access to the Djinn. Everything within its pages is authentic. This book has been reviewed by occultists such as J.S. Garrett, who believes it's one of the best books ever written on the subject of Djinn. It's also been reviewed by Sufi masters, namely German Quedo Myers, who believes this is a really good book. Moreover, Christine Hart, Sunday Times best-selling author, she writes, "This book is wonderful, a glorious read. It's not for nothing. Brian Bharrat has been called the Djinn Master. If you want fame, if you want a better relationship, if you want spiritual awakening, Djinn Illuminated is available on Kindle."